Good morning. It's just a couple of minutes before sunrise now. A little foggy out here. So foggy that I can't see the end of the cut here, and I'm certainly not going to go out into open water where I might get run over. I have the Panoptix Livescope turned on. All right, we're almost to the open water here. Right in the edge here. Now I go into open water. And as you can see, it's foggy, so I'm not going out there. I don't have lights on the boat at all. Even if I did, I wouldn't really want to go out there. Small boat, heavy fog, so let's just stay around here. Now I'm doing this with just one hand and drop it down, turn it. I can tighten the nut on the side, and the truth is, since I'm hanging onto this, controlling this, and it kind of stays in place, I'm not going to bother because I can swing this up and out of the way, and I don't know, I think I'm just going to leave it that way. Turn on the power. It will pop up in a second. Oh, it's actually already there. That's on auto, and I've turned it back to manual. All right, what's in front of me? Well, I'm looking back down the channel that I came. I'm in 6.6 feet of water, 6.8, and there is buggy whips here in front of me, so I am shooting into them. Now, let me put it on auto and see. That's too much. Ooh, look at the fish. Huh. And this is my first day. I don't really know what I'm doing here. Out here, there's a lot of hydrilla out here. Some of that may be what I'm seeing here. Let me turn this to the left and look into the buggy whips here. I'm going to turn the gain down, get some of that clutter out of the way. I'm holding you by my hand. So, well, at one point I did see a fish. I actually saw it move on the screen. It was somewhere like here and went this way. In fact, I'm going to... There, grid overlay, that's what I was looking for. Now I don't have that crosshatch pattern. You can use that to get a better feel for where things are on the screen. All right, let's look over on this side. I'm raising the gain just a little bit, hoping at some point I will see some fish. That looks like I'm looking behind the boat. I'm not. You got to put it in perspective of which direction the boat is pointed in. The boat's pointed south at this point because this is pointed straight with the boat. So you can see here, that's south on the lake right now. As much as this orientation is handy, this gives me better feedback of where this is pointed, because you have to interpret this, because if I'm pointed north, then turning this makes sense with that, but like now this shows that I'm pointed west, east, west, and I am. There's the channel that I came in. I've moved the bottom to be 15 feet, and this one controls how far I'm out I'm looking. All right, 45, 50, 55, 60. All right, let's look at 60 feet out. All right, let's change this to perspective mode. There it goes. To have this correct. So that white line to the right, that should be the direction that this is pointed when perspective mode is forward. So this handle is just about like that when it's forward. And it just automatically changed to perspective mode. So I have to eventually figure out whether or not I want this to point that way, consistent with perspective mode or with forward mode. That's why I didn't glue that piece to the pole that's inside. It's just press fitted, so I can change it later once I figure out what I think I want the most. I'm not moving, and there's, I think, a fish right there, a little white dot. Yeah, it's moving from right to left. Now that's the hydrilla out farther. There's definitely a fish, I think, right there, moving. So there's 2 of them, 3 of them. Wow, that's pretty cool. You can actually see them moving. You don't know what kind of fish they are. Ooh, that's definitely a fish right there. See him moving? There he goes. Yeah, keep coming. I'm not moving the boat. I'm not changing the angle of the boat. So he came from here all the way over to here. Now that's only about, the orientation when I'm on this screen is different than what I was looking at before. So here's the boat here, and you're looking out this way. It broadcasts out, and there's 10 feet out, 20 feet, 40 feet. So at some point that fish was like here, which would be around 30 feet. And then he ran out to a little bit 40, 45 across the front and the left of us. Transducer's pointed forward, or whatever way it's pointed. To the left is the number of feet out that it is shooting. So let's pick this spot where we saw that fish. That would be out about 40 feet and to the left of about 25 feet of where I'm pointed. Transducer's pointed straight forward. It would have been out 30 feet in that way by 20, 25 feet. So I would know that the fish was about over here, if that makes sense. Oh, I hit something. Come on, hit it again. That was actually me throwing to fish that I saw on the Livescope. Now that was cool. I need to change this bait, but I don't want to take the time. Come on. There's got to be enough plastic here to hang on. This is silly. So I'm in perspective mode, and that means that the transducer is kind of on its side and shooting out its signal across an area, as opposed to a 20-degree beam that shoots forward like this. It's the same beam, but the transducer's on its side, so when it shoots this way, it's narrower here, and then it broadcasts out in perspective. That's why you see the 0 here. Here's the boat, and that's how many feet it's shooting to the right, shooting to the left, and this is our depth from here. But as you can hear, I just kicked the trolling motors in high. I'm holding this, which isn't difficult to hold, and I'm moving along, and I'm assuming those 2 orange clumps are hydrilla. And when I look up, if you can see it, I can see the tops of the hydrilla sticking up above the water. So I have hydrilla starting out in front of me, pretty heavy. So I don't want to run into that. I really like the idea that this will let me see these clumps of hydrilla, so I'm not running into them with the twin troller and sucking all that hydrilla up inside the propellers. Right off our bow to the right should be this clump. It's supposed to be about 30 feet out, so I think I should easily hit that. Yeah, I can feel it right there. See clumps to the right, dead center in front of me. Should be clear, and sure enough, it is. I can really see this to be
something you could use if you're either around things other than this loose hydrilla that you want to throw around and you want to know where the edges are, or like in this case, let's say you are throwing around the hydrilla scattered clumps and you want to not throw into the middle of them and get something like what I'm using here with a treble hooks on it snagged. You could use this to navigate around all the weed, but yet still get close enough that you're getting done what you want to do. This clump here is that clump right there. Seeing things in the water like that are right here, seeing it on the screen gives me an idea of where things are. And it verifies to me that they are what this says that it is. And sure enough, those clumps right here, I just threw in them, which isn't exactly what I wanted to do. All right, sure enough, there it is right there. And there it is in the water on each side of us. Here's something interesting I want to try to do. There's a clump right in front of me. Now it says that it's 35, 40 feet at this point. And I should run into it right now. And sure enough, there it is. And let me show you what I want to do. I have a marker. Now this will stay in the water where I put it. All right. It's right on the edge of the hydrilla. Here's the clump. There's my marker. The bottom edge of it is where the thing is, maybe 35 feet. So if I calculate the length of the boat, it's 10 feet. 1, 2, sure enough, it's about 30 feet. Pretty accurate. Gives me an idea if I'm casting how far away things are. So when I'm casting, I know whether or not I'm getting to them or going past it, or this gives me a good visual reference to know that this is the distance it says. I have this out to 60 plus feet up here. From here to here, you're looking at 30. That's where that clump is, where my marker is. Boat's here. 30 feet is up to there. That's a long cast. And that's more than the 60 feet. So I probably hit the water right about at the top of the screen. So it gives me an idea that I can cast from here to there. I'm throwing something that's fairly aerodynamic, and this reel casts very well. And this is a 30-pound braid, if I remember right. Gives me an idea that my casting range is within the screen here. I can almost cast outside of my display. Again, there's 60 feet. Truth is, I really didn't know what my distance was. Doing this let me calculate that fairly well. Here's a dock close to the boat launch. A couple of pilings in the water. See that piling right there? That's the piling right there. And see the darkness behind it? It's not that there's nothing behind it. It's that the pole is absorbing all of the signal going. I'm just wiggling it so you can see it a little bit better. And that's why it throws a shadow behind it. So you can see that pole right there. Now I'm only at like 28 feet or so, but you can see the black pole right there. There's the other pole right here. Just pull on the right, pull on the left. Pull on the left, and you can see the pole on the right there. This is part of my first time using my Livescope, and I did some the other day in a lake that has very stained water, and now I'm in a different lake that has absolutely clear water. It's supposed to be pretty overcast, a little bit of wind. I came here because this is a small body of water, and it's generally not as affected by the wind as I am on a large lake where the wind can run the length of the lake and cause real problems. Let's see what we can do. Fish finder's on. Naturally, it says that the Livescope it can't find. Down here I have the switch. Flip it on, and I'm putting this over the side. Since I did this last, I made a decision about what I think should be the direction this is pointed in. That's in the perspective mode. You see the white line on the right is pointed forward, and so is this elbow on my top. And I did that because I wanted to be able to have some idea where this is pointed, and I think that the perspective I will use the most. But as time goes on, I could change it to something else. And this is the entire lake from here all the way around to there. It's not a very big body of water, but let's try this out and see what happens. All right, now I'm looking out 50 feet. See how heavy that is in the back? See how it's dark back here? It's because the signal is being blocked by all that foliage, so you're not seeing the back part of it. I'm looking at my phone. There's north, and dead center on the top of the screen is north here, and I'm pointed straight forward. So I would say that's pretty accurate. And there's another pipe in the water here. It's right there. The front of the boat is right over the top of it now. And out ahead of us is 2 more pipes. One's there, and one's there. Let's change this into forward mode. Let me show you something. Watch. Right here, across, to here, you're going to see this crankbait come up. See it? Going across right there. So we're in forward mode. This is the bottom of the lake. And we're shooting from here. Here's the boat, where before the boat was down here. The boat was here, and it's shooting across. Let me show you something I just did. I tipped this to make this, the transducer, point down. And the screen just changed, and it said it put it into down mode. Matter of fact, let me bring it back up. You should see it come back and say it's in forward mode. There it goes. Transducer is changing to forward. So I don't have to rotate that transducer. All I got to do is push this a little bit forward to look down farther. And that's the transducer. The boat is here. We're looking down. Let's go back to forward mode. See on the bottom here? See all these things moving? If I scan to a little bit to the right, a little bit to the left, I can tell where they are. They're pretty much right in front of the boat here. Now, they could be anything. They could be crappie, they could bluegill, catfish. Now I've got a Senko down there, but they may not be something that would eat my Senko. Let me put this right in front of the transducer. I'm trying to see if I can... And there it is. See it? Watch. There it goes. I'm going down. Up, down. Let me show you some settings. Menu. Gain. I can control that on the front of the screen. Forward range. That means which way the transducer is kind of pointed. Depth range. I can control that on the front of the screen. And I'm at 25 feet right now. I like to be a little bit below the bottom of the lake so that I can see under that, give me a feel for what kind of a bottom the lake has. Muddy, hard, that kind of thing. Sonar setup, let's just go there. Appearance shows my color scheme. And these are all my colors. I'm at rusted steel right now. Lava, Caribbean. You can see the changes here. Floodlight, ice blue, aqua, moss, amber, copper, black, emerald, midnight blue, orange, red shade, blue, yellow, and that's as far. See, there's no more arrow pointing down. I have read how people really like the blue. Maybe I should start trying that to see if I like it. Go back to menu, sonar setup. We're back to appearance. That's where we were. Trails. What do they do? If there is something moving, it will put a little bit of a discoloration behind it. If there was a fish moving from here to here, behind it, you would see a little trail behind it, almost like a jet putting a trail behind it. Now down, this is the bottom of the lake. The width of this will give me an indication of how hard the bottom of the lake is. Color gain lets you determine the brightness of the colors. You can do it manually or leave it in default. I've got it in default. So let's try this blue. All right, the bottom of the lake is way up here, so I'm way too deep. This goes with this scale. See this scale? So it's parallel with it. That means that goes with that one. This scale is parallel with the top scale. This has to do with how far out we're shooting. This one has to do with how deep we're shooting. So I don't want to be so deep, so I'll make it less deep, but I still want to see the bottom. The boat is here, so as we're looking out into the water, as I'm moving forward, things are moving across this way because they're getting closer to me as we move. It takes a little while to get some orientation of where everything is here. Now, noise reject, I have it on medium. Let's turn it on high. So I get rid of a lot of the stuff. You can do that in addition to the gain. So you can have your gain up high, but yet have this filter out some of the clutter on the screen. I'm keeping it at medium. This grid, let me go back and show you this. I turned it on. See the grid pattern? Let's say you got something out here. Well, I can see I'm 25 feet out and I'm 5 feet down at whatever I'm looking at. I think I'm going to leave it on for a little while. Installation, install a depth. I have it set at 1 foot. That's because the transducer is down about a foot from the water line. Come on. That's a nice fish. Let me get some things out of the way. This gotta get out of the way. I think I got this turned on, don't I? To record, yep. All right, I got you. That's a miracle I got that. It went through his lip. Let me back up to get away from these weeds. Went through his lip and then caught the hook on the outside of his mouth and he got caught on the weeds. All right. Calm down. I'll get you out in a second here. There we go. Nice fish. All right, let's see. We are. Hopefully you can see that 17 inches. I want to do something because I need the time to get some things ready. Okay. All right. I got that on his lip. Put this around here so that he can't knock it off. All right. I can put that in the water. Clip this around itself. And I'm just gonna hang this on there. There. And that way you can keep the fish in the water and kind of organize the boat a little. I got stuff all, oh crap. Well, there goes one of my chatterbaits right off the side of the boat. You can see him. Oh, that works pretty good. It just gives me a couple of minutes here to get organized. I got stuff all over. I normally don't have time to do this, but now that I put the fish in the water, I got all the time to get this thing ready as much as I want. What the heck? Well, the scale doesn't work. All right, I'll let you go. Right where we caught you. There you go. See a fishy? Well, let me show you what this is. I actually saw something similar that is manufactured. Altogether is one piece. This is a carabiner clip, and this is bungee cord. There are D-clips in here, shrink wrapped over the top of it with this here. Now this is a small gripper. I didn't want something huge. They make them like this long. I didn't want that. It's like 6 1/4 inches long total. So I put a key ring, split ring here, goes right through, looped it around, and more D-rings here, more shrink wrap here. And this came on it. And the idea behind this here, I like the idea, was once I put this on the fish, what I don't want to have a fish is shake back and forth, maybe bump against the boat, pop that out, and then the fish is gone. If I put that there, the lanyard it came on, I just go like this, slide this down, and now it can't come undone. It's like a safety. So when I take it off, all I gotta do is push that, slide it up, and then I could get the fish off. I'm gonna put the lanyard in here so it's easier to get to. And then I just wrap this up, clipped it on there, nice and compact, stick it in my place where I've got all my tackle. Neat idea. It gave me the ability to take the fish here and get organized. All right, it's 10:23 in the morning. Temperature. There we go. Come on, fishy. Where the heck are you going? Oh! How could you have come off after all that? Huh. There we go. This one has got all right. That's another one on a fluke. All we're gonna get to do is measure a length. 14 1/2. 3 bites, 2 fish in the boat. And the last 2 bites were along the Kissimmee grass here on the outside edge. All right, fishy. Hey, well, that wasn't very nice. I let you go, and you splashed the daylights out of me. Get me all wet. My glasses wet. So thanks for following me. Thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. Ring the bell so you get a notice again in the future. See you next time. Bye now.